I like being big, strong Henry, Henry thought. Henry saw Thomas waiting up ahead. Look, Henry, tooted Thomas, there are lots of heavy freight cars. Here comes Gordon, whistled Thomas. And here comes big, strong Henry, hooted Henry. Then there was trouble. The freight cars were very heavy. Once Henry had started them rolling, they wouldn't stop. Help! Cried Henry. Whoa! Edward brought Rocky to lift Henry back onto the track. And he also brought Sir Topham Hatt. Henry, boomed Sir Topham Hatt, take those hay bales back to where you found them. One car at a time. Yes, sir, wheezed Henry sadly. Henry had never felt so miserable. Gordon had delivered the last freight car to Farmer McColl's new shed. Now, Gordon, boomed Sir Topham Hatt, you can go and collect Farmer McColl's cows. Farmer McColl's men had loaded the cows into Gordon's trucks. Gordon was feeling very proud of himself. Paw! Poor old Henry, he laughed. He's not big, strong Henry at all. Gordon set off. He was laughing so much, he didn't see that the car doors hadn't been shut properly. Hello, Henry, whistled Gordon. Hello, Gordon, hooted Henry. And then he noticed something. All the cows are leaving your cars, Gordon, Henry puffed. Oh, no, wheezed Gordon. What am I going to do? Then Henry saw something else. Some of the cows were eating the hay bales on his car. Suddenly, an idea flew into Henry's funnel. Henry chuffed slowly along. The hungry cows followed him. They wanted to eat the hay from his freight car. They followed Henry all the way to their new shed. Farmer McColl was very pleased. That night, Thomas and Percy spoke to Henry. We're sorry we got you into trouble, Thomas tooted. I shouldn't have wanted to be big, strong Henry, hooted Henry. Now you're even better, whistled Emily. You really are very helpful, Henry. Henry smiled. Even the strongest engine needs a little help sometimes, chuffed Henry. Don't you agree, Gordon? Gordon's face went as red as a signal. Percy has run out of coal. He's sad because he can't go anywhere until another engine arrives with some more. Thomas wants to cheer his friend up. He's going to tell Percy a story. Thomas wants to use things around him in the story. See if you can help him. Thomas asks Percy which engine he wants the story to be about. A fast engine, peeps Percy. Thomas sees Toby, Mavis, and Gordon. Which is the fastest? That's right. Gordon is a fast engine. Thomas is going to make up a story about Gordon. Once there was a fast engine called Gordon, tooted Thomas. One day, he was steaming quickly to... Thomas asked Percy where he'd like Gordon to go. Somewhere exciting, peeps Percy. Thomas sees a field, a bus stop, and a poster for the circus. Which is the most exciting? That's right. The circus is the most exciting place. One day, toots Thomas, Gordon steamed quickly to the circus. He was very excited to see... Thomas asked Percy what Gordon should see. Something special, peeps Percy. Thomas sees coal cars, milk churns, and a Chinese dragon. Which is the most special? Yes, a Chinese dragon is very special. One day, Gordon steamed quickly to the circus, puffed Thomas. He was very excited to see the special Chinese dragon. Percy thought it was the best story he had ever heard. In fact, now Percy's going to tell Henry the story while he's waiting for his coal. Well done, Thomas. Today, Mavis is wondering what she would look like if she had a face like her friend Emily. Mavis has a square face, but Emily has a round face. Mavis is going to pretend that she has a round face too. Now Mavis wonders what she would look like if she was painted the same color as Emily. Mavis is black, but Emily is green. Mavis is going to pretend that she is green too. Now Mavis wonders what it would be like to be a steam engine. Now Mavis has a funnel and steam, just like her friend Emily. Mavis thinks looking like Emily is fun, but she likes being Mavis best. The island of Sodor is a wonderful place. Thomas enjoys puffing all over the island. There are lots of special places to visit. Where's this? That's right, it's the Sodor Island seaside. All the engines like chuffing by the seaside. They like the fresh sea air, and they like to hear the seagulls calling. Most of all, they like to see the children's happy faces playing on the sand. And there's nothing the children like more on the beach than ice cream. One hot summer, Thomas was working very hard. He had to bring ice cream to the ice cream stall. Thomas didn't want to pull freight cars of ice cream. He wanted to pull passenger cars of happy children. But when he arrived, the children cheered and cheered. Thomas was surprised. They were so happy to see Thomas. He had brought them lots of ice cream. This was the best seaside job of all. But sometimes the weather at the seaside isn't sunny. It's very foggy. One day, Thomas couldn't see where he was going. Thomas was scared. He didn't want to go on. He started to go backwards. But Thomas knew he needed to deliver the deck chairs and windbreakers. I won't be afraid. I won't be afraid, he chuffed slowly. Thomas's wheels started to creak forward, and his steam puffed proudly. The fog cleared. Thomas could see the cliffs and the sparkling sea. Thomas delivered everything safely and on time. There's one engine for whom the seaside is very special. That's Skarloey. Thomas was to pull Skarloey to the menders. He wanted to show Skarloey the sights of Sodor. The sights Skarloey didn't see in the mountains. But Skarloey didn't think the sights were special at all, until he saw the sea. It was the most magical thing he had ever seen. Skarloey said he'd never seen anything like it. It was wonderful. Skarloey didn't want to leave the seaside. He wanted to stay looking at it forever and ever. That's why the seaside is very special for Skarloey. There are so many special places on the island of Sodor. Next time, Thomas will show us somewhere else. Today, Thomas and his friends are playing a game. 3 of his friends are in these sheds. There's Gordon, there's Emily, and there's James. Thomas is trying to remember which of his friends is in which shed. Can you help him? Gordon's in the first shed, Emily's in the middle shed, and James is in the last shed. Gordon, Emily, James. Thomas has to remember which friend is in the first shed. Here he comes. Have you remembered who it is? Yes, it's Gordon. This time, Thomas has to remember which friend is in the middle shed. Here comes someone. Have you remembered who it is? Yes, it's Emily. Now Thomas has to remember which friend is in the last shed. Here he comes. Who is it going to be? Yes, it's James. Thomas remembered where all his friends were. Did you? Sticky Taffy Thomas. It was summertime on the island of Sodor. The engines were very busy. The children were having a big costume party, and there were lots of jobs to do. Percy collected the cakes and candies. Toby collected some sticky taffy to make taffy apples. And Thomas took the tables and chairs. When Thomas delivered the tables and chairs, he saw some children. They were making costumes for the party. That looks like fun, tooted Thomas. Then Sir Topham Hatt spoke to Thomas.
Thomas, I would like you to give train rides at the party, Sir Topham Hatt said. But first you must go to the washdown so you look your best.
Thomas was delighted. He loved giving children train rides. Thomas puffed to the washdown. He was thinking about the children and their costumes. I want to go to the party in costume too, chuffed Thomas. Then I would really look my best. Thomas was soon covered in soapy suds. He was scrubbed and rubbed, rubbed and scrubbed. Then Percy arrived at the washdown. You look like a giant bubble, peeped Percy. That's it, puffed Thomas. I'll go to the party as a giant bubble. So Thomas puffed quickly away, still covered in bubbles. He couldn't wait to show the children his costume. Then there was trouble. The bubbles blew into his eyes. Thomas couldn't see where he was going, and he bumped straight into the back of Toby. Toby's axle was broken. Sorry, puffed Thomas. Soon Sir Topham Hatt arrived.
Toby, you must go to the yard to be repaired, said Sir Topham Hatt.
If I don't take the sticky taffy to the party, the children won't be able to make taffy apples, moaned Toby.